Okay, day 8 of this 40-day cleanse that I'm on. I think that the company has it as a 30-day cleanse now, that's brand new. I committed to 40 days and I'm going to do 40 days. So today's day 8. It was a little tough day, just feeling the detox, just feeling generally a little bit icky. And so I'm just working my way through that. And so there's some physical symptoms for sure. Definitely everything just seems to be really slowing down inside of me. There's a lot of detoxing happening, drinking the green drink twice a day. There's a lot of toxins being drawn out of my system. And so I think that it's, creating a bit of a little shock value on with that toxins coming out. And I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the fatigue. I had, little headaches here and there, but just sort of a ick feeling. But also outside of the physical symptoms, there's been a lot of emotional symptoms too. It's just these things associated with food and comfort, and not just food. Obviously, we need food. Food is amazing. Food is our fuel. But the kind of food that I've been giving my body, that it craves, and it's so good going in, but then it creates a lot of inflammation in my body and a lot of digestive issues. And when you eat like that, with things that your body is literally trying to sometimes scream to get your attention, hey, that wasn't good for me, stop eating that, but we do it anyway, right? Those are the habits that I'm talking about, that I'm trying to overcome. And first of all, get a lot of those, I have a pretty high carb diet. I'm not gonna lie and pretend that I don't, more than my body needs or wants. So I need to regulate on that. And at these 8 days, I have not had hardly any carbs at all. So I'm not totally into the whole keto thing. I don't like to put any labels on any lifestyle. I think that every body needs what they need. And some people do really, really well on vegan. Some people do really well on paleo. Some people do really well on keto. Some people can eat whatever they want and they're fine. So it's not even about that. It's about whatever it is that the body ingests and then like how it responds. And so I know that there's certain foods that I eat, that I ingest, and it does not respond well. And it clearly makes me uncomfortable and sick, and yet I do it anyway. Why? Because eating it at the time makes me feel good. Maybe I'm in a setting that I'm with friends and things are social, and I know it's like, oh, I have to have some of that. It's so good. Also, just depending upon my mood and what I gravitate toward based on how I feel. So all these things I'm having an opportunity to sit with, and it's actually really good. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying sitting with some of the discomfort and some of a lot of the things that are coming up, because I know those underlying things are what needs to be healed, seen, acknowledged, so that I can recognize them and continue to make better choices around food. Really listening more to my body, listening to what it requires, how it responds to what I'm giving it. A lot of times we're just simply dehydrated. We're not taking in enough water, and that can sometimes come up as hunger. So I know I need to take more water in. Things like this that I'm learning. I'm being very, very open and super self-aware around this time. And I know that 40 days is long enough to absolutely change and create new patterns and behaviors. So this is why I chose the 40-day over the 10-day, which there's a 10-day that's offered. And the 10-day is probably going to be a part of my life and the maintenance part of this, after this 40 days is done. And I begin to reintroduce my normal daily stuff into my life, and I'm not so regimented on this plan. So I'm gonna have to go back to the real world and eating with my family and going out and on the run and on the go. And when, life isn't always planned out all the time, you have to grab. So that's not going to stop these 40 days. And I'm going to be forced to make different choices when I want to grab something that I know is going to be quick and yummy, but not necessarily good for me. So anyway, this is all the different things that I'm going through. And I just kind of wanted to share a lot of this is for me to look back on, for me to kind of keep track of, and for me to reflect upon, and just kind of sharing it too, because I've gotten a lot of great responses. I know that a lot of people feel like I do, especially people who are middle-aged. They just, body is starting to speak differently. Has different needs. It's responding differently. And I know I'm not the only one feeling this. Like, for instance, this fibromyalgia, I think it's so overdiagnosed. It's a significant disorder, but much of it has to do a lot with our lifestyle, what we're eating, and how much we're drinking. I don't drink alcohol, hardly ever. I mean, I will if there's a party. It's not like I'm against it, but I don't keep it in the house, and I don't drink it on a daily basis, maybe a few times a year or whatever. So that's not an issue for me, but food is an issue. Especially carbs, it's an issue. Probably, even though I'm not a super sweet eater, but I know sugar is an issue, because all of the food that I do eat turns to sugar. And this is what millions and millions of people suffer from, this addiction to sugar and this addiction to the food additives. And so I know I'm doing myself a great justice by pulling myself completely away from all the processed and foods that I know are bad. But even with eating really, really well, we still accumulate toxins. We have pesticides and just chemicals, and we can't really get away from it. So detoxing is really super important. And I think it's recommended to do it maybe once every 4 months, certainly twice a year is a good idea, because you get clean and then, you get toxic again. So it's time for me to do this. I wish I would have started earlier in life on the regular, but I know a lot of people who have, and I didn't. But I'm going to start now. I'm going to be 50 in May, and I know that this changing body is just going to require a lot more TLC. So I want to start really paying attention to that. I put a post on Facebook saying how you deserve more than anything the love that you give to others. And I know that I give out so much, and I'll continue to do that. It's what I'm here put on this planet for, is to love and to experience everything that will allow me to see the different versions of that. But I think I miss the mark when it comes to me a lot of the times. And I know that I'm not alone on that either. So this is really about self-love. This is really about, making better decisions for me, for my future, for the preservation of my life and quality of health. And so once I get this reset, I know that there's a whole other journey. But bottom line is that outside of this, I know that once I get over this hump, this detox hump, I'm going to feel a whole lot better. And I really appreciate you guys all supporting me. That's why I've been doing this so publicly, because I know I really, really need the support. So I will continue to keep you updated. Everyone have a great weekend.